Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Beat the Clock podcast. My name is Rubio-Garcia, and I am here to help you grow. Through the many timed interviews I'll be having, all guests will answer 4 time-specific questions. By answering these questions honestly, we hope to show you how each moment connects to the next. Whether they are entrepreneurs or thought leaders, all are invited to sit down, chat with me, and show you a realistic depiction of success. By doing so, we hope to change your mind and empower you to beat the clock. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beat the Clock. My name is Rubio-Garcia, but some call me the Victorious MRG. They do so because they know that I was pretty successful back in the day, and now I want to do the same for you. So if you're listening for the first time, thank you so much. If you're coming back, I even have some news for you. So I haven't said this at all on the podcast, but I think it's time now. And I want to announce, I'm like scared, nervous, excited, thrilled. I don't know, but whatever. The announcement is here. I am starting a 90-day transformation program, and it's specifically for life and mindset coaching. So if that's something you're interested in, I am going to include you a link in the show notes, and there you can sign up with a free 5-day mindset challenge, and then you'll start getting announcements for this launch. It's coming quickly, and I'm only taking 10. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. If not, let's just keep on going. We have the 3 BTC affirmations that we always do. Here we go. Number 1, I trust myself. This is for us to slow down and to process. Number 2, my time is valuable. So if you learn to listen to yourself like you did in the first affirmation, you will start to act like it with the second affirmation. And number 3, I can control how I use my time today. So that means you're not going to allow anything to stop you anymore. The only thing stopping yourself is you. So you're going to choose you today, and you're going to stop limiting yourself. And okay, so we had a major announcement, at least for me. We also had the affirmations. This is something we do all the time. If you're new here, it all went really fast this time. So let me kind of walk you through it. I always introduce myself. I always like to start with the affirmations. And so longtime listeners are like, yay, hopefully. And you were probably like, whoa, but it's okay. It's okay. We pause, we slow down, and then we jump into the interview, and I introduce today's guest. Now, today's guest is in the same industry as me. And I'm doing this to show you guys it's okay to bring in your quote unquote competitor, right? I think we live in a scarcity mindset a lot of the times when we're living in fear. And we say, there's no way you can talk to somebody in the same niche as you because you're going to self-sabotage and they can steal your clients and all that good stuff. But no, that is what the sharks tell us in industry. And that is one way to do it, but it's not the way to do it, right? You can actually go into an industry and disrupt the paradigm, right? And so I'm trying to do that by bringing in Pauly Long. He's also another disruptor. So it's really, really cool. And it's kind of a testimony that people can collaborate and people can start a movement together, right? So Pauly Long is somebody whose life mission is to create an abundance of happiness for everybody he possibly can. So he's not trying to do a couple. He's not trying to do millions. In his bio, it literally says he's trying to change billions of lives. And so at the age of 27, he basically abandoned all sorts of convention and chose to follow his true calling in life. So he started his first business called MineSet, not mind with a D, but mind, like that's mine, set. And he's going to start a community-based series of programs to help people live the life they want. So Pauly is also into travel, and I am too. So we're like kindred spirits, and it was really cool to talk to him. And he is just starting, right? Like he started MineSet literally this year. So he's a little bit ahead of me in the game, but we're both walking the same path. And it's really cool to see how much success somebody can have when they're really just gonna decide into it. So let's see how Pauly beats the clock. And the clock starts now. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to BTC. I am here with entrepreneur and founder and CEO of MineSet, Pauly Long. How are you, Pauly?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I think you're the first person to ask back. So yay.
Yeah. Oh, I always do. I know how I'm doing. I got to find out how you're doing, you know?
Yeah, I love that. So thank you so much for being on Beat the Clock.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It took us long enough, but we're here.
Yeah, I know it's been a journey, but we gotta enjoy the ride, I guess. So yes, like we were talking about in prep, we have 4 questions that we're always gonna um, talk about and ask. But before we jump into that, I always like to do this with guests. So I don't like to tell them in prep because I want it to be an authentic reaction here. Yes, you're a CEO. Yes, you're an entrepreneur. You're a bunch of stuff. But at your core, I like to kind of do a little research on you and see what your core is. So I give like a little phrase to each guest. And so for me, you are an authentic adventurer. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, definitely as of this year, man, I've been on quite the adventure. I'm sure we'll get into it.
Yeah, and I mean, even outside of travel, I was looking at some of your posts, and you had a big life change. So even if it's not
Yeah.
physical adventure, you're all for chasing the dream or chasing an intellectual challenge, and that's why
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that you're an adventurous spirit. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's pretty accurate for sure.
awesome. So
For
you ready to
sure.
jump
Always
in?
on
Now is
adventure.
where the timing gets started.
All right.
So you ready to beat the clock?
Let's get it.
Okay, cool. So first question is, who were you?
Who was I before what, the last year or so?
Yeah, because that's when everything really changed for you, right?
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, like my life in 10 seconds. I was born in central Pennsylvania. Um, I was 2 years old when my parents split up. So I grew up as an only child for a little while till my sister was born when I was 8. And then just kind of always had that lone wolf lifestyle a lot. You know, I had friends here and there, whatever, but I definitely spent a lot of time seldom for a lot of my life. And so that just kind of allowed me to look at things a little bit differently when all your judgment isn't clouded by a ton of people around you at all times.
Mhm.
And so I definitely gained a different sense of my surroundings, I would say, than your average person. And it didn't really catch up with me until the past year or so. But I switched schools a bunch of times. So I was always having to create new relationships, you know, always a butterfly, man, always on the move, flying somewhere different. And then it came to like a halt after I went typical entrepreneur, college dropout, tried school, wasn't for me, got a bunch of jobs, whatever. And then I landed a job at LA Fitness, the gym chain, back in 2015. And my life just went completely stagnant for 4 years. Because I'd always been bouncing around, and then I found LA Fitness, and I got really good at it really quick. I was doing I was selling the personal training. And then they bumped me up, and I became a manager. So I had this sense of accomplishment and success for like really the first time in my life. It felt like,
Mhm.
but what I didn't realize was. I did realize that I knew that it wasn't making me truly happy. I knew that that wasn't what I wanted to do, but I didn't know any entrepreneurs yet. I didn't know anyone that had a bigger perspective on life yet. And so that was it. In my mind, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to become a district vice president where, you get paid like a little cushy 100K base, which in today's world is like, when you really think about it, not as much as it used to be by a landslide. And so that was it. I got stagnant. So 4 years passed. I went through a couple bad breakups. I was smoking a ton of pot. I was getting blackout drunk every weekend, and I just, and that was it. Being a sleazeball, just I just wasn't going anywhere. I didn't have anything going for me. And so one day, one of my managers, this is one of the most pivotal points in my life. One of my managers of LA Fitness recommended I read the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
Mhm.
And I bought the audiobook back in 2017, and I finished it in like a week. And I was like, whoa, I was like, all right, hold on. Something's not right. Something's not right. And it's still after that took me another about a year and 3 or 4 months to finally figure it out. And so I started getting my real estate license towards the end of 2018. Finally got my license, finally quit LA Fitness after 4 years back in the end of March last year. So about a year and a half ago. And I joined a real estate team. I got my license 2 months later, and then I quit that 3 months in because I still realized I was like, dude, I thought I was gonna be an entrepreneur, but I'm just working for people still. When you're an agent, you're working for people. So and that's why I didn't like school. That's why I never liked jobs. I can't like, I don't take rules very well. You know,
Yeah.
I like doing my own thing. I always got in trouble in school a lot too, but so that's who I was. And then all of a sudden I, the first half of last year, I started connecting with a bunch of people on Instagram, and this is where my life changed. So I started exploring different opportunities that were online. So like, you know, and like multi-level marketing businesses, network marketing, different types of like investments and cryptocurrency and trading and e-commerce. And I was like, I started seeing it, you know, I started seeing guys like Gary V and Ed Milet and all these big entrepreneurs. And then it would taper down into people that were following them on Instagram, but were a little bit lower on the totem pole. And then the people under them. And then eventually it trickled down to people that were like not that far off from where I was, just a little bit ahead of me. And obviously I'm not going to sit there and shoot Gary V or Grant Cardone a DM and get a message from them. Right.
Yeah.
So I started networking and started just networking my face off. I was DMing every single entrepreneur I could find. And eventually I got in touch with a few of them. One of them offered to fly me out to Scottsdale, Arizona, for an opportunity after I paid him for a mentorship. Turns out the whole opportunity was a complete wash anyway, but that's just part of the journey. You know, you live and you learn. Mm-hmm. I always say too, the wrong people lead you to the right people, or the wrong people lead you to the right places. Right. And that's kind of what happened. So it led me to Scottsdale. I went there for 2 weeks on a one-way ticket. I had no idea what I was doing, to meet some guys that I met online that I'd never met in person before. Yeah. So like not your average scenario. Right. Right. I slept on this kid's couch. I was 27 last year. I'm 28 now. I'm a 27-year-old sleeping on a 21-year-old's couch in an apartment, you know, stains all over the place. The dogs are pooping and peeing. I mean, it was just so surreal. I was like, what is life right now? Yeah. And no job, you know, no money, anything like that. And I came home and I was about to be like, all right, I think I'm going to move to Scottsdale like next year or in November. And one of the guys that I met out there called me like 2 nights after I got back, and he's like, so when are you coming out? When are you moving out here? And I was like, oh, probably, you know, end of the year, maybe beginning of next year. He's like, what are you waiting for? And I had nothing to say. And that night I stayed up till like 5 a.m. finding an Airbnb to go move into temporarily. I booked it for a month and a half. I packed my car up 3 days later and I started driving cross country. So I got to Scottsdale in 3 days from Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia, right outside the city. Took me 3 days to get there. I had like $3,000 to my name. No job, no income, anything like that. And I just went for it. And I have not looked back since. So that's who I was up until last year. I was just your average guy working at the gym, going out on the weekends, not really knowing what to do, to be honest.
Yeah. And we have about a minute and a half left, so I'll try to be brief, but sure. I really like that you mentioned that aspect of networking, because you know, you want to shoot for the main ones, like you're saying, but that's not always realistic. So it's about, you know, kind of respecting everybody on their path and finding the ones that are closest to you. I really like that approach, because I don't know that people always see it that way.
Yeah. You can't go after the big dogs when you're, you know, when you're a little tadpole. You know, you gotta swim with the other tadpoles first before you start hanging out with the frogs. So it's like, I realized that, you know, because I had sent, and you know what's funny is I had sent out a couple messages to like bigger accounts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, totally like in just dreaming, like, and then afterwards I realized I'm like, this is not the way, like, it's not going to happen. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I found you because I found Colin, and Colin had a way bigger following than I have, but I feel like he was humble enough to kind of take me on. So shout out to him. And then it hooked me up with you. So yeah, like you said, you just started in the past year, so just a little bit ahead of me, but that's how we do it. You know, we rise by lifting others, and I
That's
really
right.
like your story because you're not afraid of disclosing the baggage, right? You called yourself a sleazeball, you called yourself, unfocused and all over the place. And I think people
Yeah.
need to hear someone be that honest so that they can
Be
just get
genuine,
it.
man. Be genuine.
Yeah.
That's why I write it. That's why I say it. It's true though, you know? I mean, there's a picture painted of this dream life that everyone lives, especially on Instagram these days. And the majority of people aren't living the life they portray, which is really sad, you know? And I think it definitely comes into play with their own maybe insecurities or you know, whatever they're going through. But yeah, the real ones are the ones that help people the most and leave the most impact. And that's the kind of person that I want to be. At least I don't ever want to make someone feel down about themselves, you know, just because they see how I'm living and then it turns out I'm not even living that way, right? I'm faking it. It's like that's just a lousy way to live. So the more real you can be, the more everyone benefits off of it.
Yeah. And when you were trying to find your way, because you said, it was like a scramble basically. How
Yeah.
did you keep persisting even though you were like in real estate and MLM? Like, how did you finally just find a flow, so to speak, and really know what your calling was?
Yeah. I mean, it's still, and even after I went to Scottsdale, like when I moved there back, and that was August of last year, August 2019,
Hmm.
is when I drove out cross country. Um, but even after I got there, it took me a few months. Hold on one second. Um, it took me a few months after I got there to still do like what I feel is my calling. But that was like a big part of it was I was trying all these different businesses and industries that I saw other people doing. And so like just, you know, I saw them doing it and them making money off of it and having success and posting the cool pictures on Instagram. And so in my mind, I was like, well, let me do that, right? Because that looks like they're doing well, so let's give it a shot. Well, the problem was I was just doing a bunch of stuff that I saw other people doing, and it wasn't what I had any interest in. And when you're sitting there trying to chase a dream um, with a stick of dynamite that's not lighting, it's going to be really hard for you to explode. So, you know, I realized that a few months into it. And it actually, this is a cool story too. This is how I founded my now movement that I'm building, MineSet, spelled with an E, MineSet. But I got invited to do my very first live call for a group of women. You ever heard of the company called Monet?
Hmm. Yeah. The hair
Yeah,
products?
like hair and skin products. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I got invited to talk to a group of them on a Facebook Live call, and I thought there was only going to be like 10 or 20 max, and it was like 70 girls on there, all just like hungry, fired up, you know, trying to get some motivation, all that. And so that was my first ever thing. I got invited on that back in it was probably like the end of October or beginning of November, went right around there.
Hmm.
And I spoke for them for about 45 minutes. I had no idea. I had no plan, anything like that. You know, the girl approached me and was like, "Hey, love your content. Come speak to my team of girls." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I do this all the time." Right. And like, I'd never done it before. So I was just, you know, you overpromise and overdeliver, you know, not the opposite. But yeah, no, I did that and chopped it up, and I ended up getting a ton of response from a lot of the girls afterwards. DM me on Instagram, "Hey, thank you so much for that call. That was awesome. That was one of the most motivating things I've ever heard." Like all these awesome responses, and I was like, wow, this feels great, you know. Like, and then I realized like that was what I loved doing all along. I used to motivate people in the gym, right? When I used to train them, I used to motivate them. I used to hire employees under me and train them and motivate them. And I was just doing it for the wrong reasons, right? I was doing it for personal training, which is not, you know, I like training my own body, but that's not what I want to do to help other people. I want to approach it in a different stream. So yeah, so that happened. I went home that night. I got out my whiteboard and erased everything that I had on it because I had all these stupid goals of like make $500 a day trading, sell 3 homes, wholesale real estate, buy a G-Wagon by April 2020, like all these like stupid goals that meant nothing to me. And I thought they meant something. And I just wiped the whole thing clean. And I wrote motivational speaking and then just went to bed that night and got up the next morning and went into the office of the apartment complex that my buddy I met there used to live at. We used to work there every day. We would just go there and it was empty and free coffee. And we would just sit there and work all day. And I went to Staples and bought a big notepad easel and markers and everything, and had my tripod on my phone and set it up and started recording the videos for the program that I had launched January 1st. That was called MineSet. So it actually started as like a little online program. I just made it like $30. Like, hey, $30. I have a ton of like mindset value on here. Just like buying a little mindset program or a book or something like that. It was exactly what it was like. And so that's how it all started. And then it turned into a kind of more of like a movement now. And yeah. That's
and you're not charging $30 anymore.
No, I'm not even running the program right now, to be honest. I put everything on hold the last couple months because I had some other things that I was really dialed in on. So actually just as of like the last 2 weeks, I've been working with my graphics designer again to get stuff going. And so we have some cool stuff coming. Maybe we'll get into it at a later point. But
yeah, that's what I was about to say. We're already pretty much there. So let me just start timing it at this point. So who are you now? What is MineSet? You keep mentioning it, and we kind of are giving a little sneak peek, but what is it? What do you do? What does it entail? What's your style and approach to it? All that good stuff.
Yeah, well, so the mission statement is helping people live the lives they truly want to live without them being influenced by judgments or the opinions of others. So essentially, my whole thought process when I came up with it was, here I am living a life that I want to live for sure, because I'm not like, my main thing was like, I couldn't stand going into a job anymore. I couldn't do it. I was depressed. I hated it. I hate, like, every morning I woke up, I was just dread. Right. And I'm like, how is this a way to live? This is not cool. This is not, like, nothing about my life excites me right now. And so my main goal was like, I am going to create something for myself that I don't have to live in a mansion driving a Ferrari everywhere, but like, as long as I don't have to go to work, I'm happy, man. Like, and I can just stay home and work on what I want to. Hey, that's a win. And so a lot of people don't live their lives like that, obviously, as we know. And a lot of people do what they think society thinks is best for them. A lot of people do what they think their parents are best for them. A lot of people do what they think their friends are going to approve of. A lot of people are going to do what the social standards and the things that have been the generations have set before us of like what is, right and wrong, or normal and not normal. And it's crazy, man, when you think about it. So many people are just living someone else's life and not theirs. And so I started doing, more, I started like reading more mindset stuff and motivational stuff. And I was like, man, I got to teach people how to have the same mindset that I have right now, because this is awesome that I can just like up and move to a different state and like not have to go into an office if I don't want to. And then I was like, this is like, my life is mine. And then I was like, mindset. All right, cool. And that's how I came up with it, because it was like my own mindset. My mindset is mine. So that's how it all started. And then I made that program. I ended up hiring like a whole team to come out to Hawaii when I was in Hawaii from April to July. And we started working on another program there. Since then, I still love all of them as people. We just decided to go separate ways because the business also was taking a different turn. And so now, instead of doing like programs and courses and all that kind of stuff, that's just not me. That's just really not who I am. And I figured that out from trying it, which, I'll get into with that. Of like, I know one of the questions you said was like how to stay moving and all that, but I was just trying so many things, right? So I found what didn't work, and now I'm realizing what I do want to do. And my whole goal is to be a social presence, not for the whole sake of like having, clout and street cred. And I don't care about that stuff. I just want my voice to be heard, because I know that I have good things to say, and I know that my words can impact people's lives. So now I really want to turn this into more of a movement rather than a program, you know what I mean? And so I'll just tell you. So the one thing I have coming up soon, actually getting ready to place the order today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, is I'm getting bracelets made. So it's going to be a whole movement. There's going to be like a reason for the bracelet, and people are going to be able to pass them on to another person. That's all I'll say. But it's going to be cool. And then I just started building an Instagram page for it right now. And we're going to be doing something with the Instagram page as well that I'm not disclosing at the moment. But
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm excited. It's going to be cool because I put it on hold for a couple months just for some personal reasons as well as business. And I have a couple other ventures, obviously, that I work on as well that provide me a lot of my income. So I had to give that some attention for a little bit. But now that that's subsided at a good point that I can have that as my income and now put more focus back into mindset again. That's like where I'm at right now.
That's cool. And I had some super good question, but then I was all into it. So how can other people kind of, like, I know you can't give away all the tea for your secrets or your mindset hacks, but what's something that you think anyone can easily apply that really kind of set you on a state of momentum that you're on right now?
It all right. So I'm going to say like 3 different things here. One, it starts with your perspective, because the way that you see things in life, whatever manner that is that's going to generate your thoughts. Whatever you see, whatever comes through your eyes goes to your brain. And then your brain formulates thoughts, and then those thoughts go to your heart and they become beliefs. And then you start really believing in what you're thinking because you think it so much. And when you start believing so much, your heart controls what you do, and you start acting in a different way. So your actions become different. And then when you have different actions, you're going to have different outcomes. So your realities then change too. So that's like my process of manifestation and the law of attraction and bringing into your life what you want of it. So I realized that, at some point last year, I don't remember when, I kind of just had a big spiritual download and thought to myself, well, if I sit here and just keep doing the same old stuff and thinking the same old ways, like my thought process is not working. So let me listen to someone else's. And then, like I said, books like the 10X Rule. Another one of my favorites is Jen Sincero. I love her. You Are a Badass. You Are a Badass at Making Money. Absolutely. She's like one of my favorite authors. Love her books. Another one too, I would highly recommend anyone listening to this is I prefer the audiobook version of it, but it's All in Your Head by Russ, the rapper. Phenomenal. And he's not like your typical like modern day, Lil Pump or like 21 Savage type of rapper. He's actually like a really, nothing against those guys, of course, but he's like a really intellectual guy. I've listened to some of his podcasts and all that kind of stuff. His book's phenomenal.
I didn't know he had books and podcasts and all that. Now I have to go check it out.
Yeah. His book, definitely get the audiobook because he's got a little swag in his voice. So I think it really resonates more when you hear him talk. But anyway, so a lot of those changed my mindset, and then you just have to be aware of the way you think and act, like to such a point where you get so aware of yourself that it becomes autopilot, and then you're able to be aware of others. And the way like I said, I told you before, I grew up a lot of times seldom by myself, only child for the first 8 years of my life. And just, always switching schools. So I never had like a main group of friends my whole life. So like I was always observing a lot, and too, like from my parents splitting up at an early age, like I just saw so much and observed so much because I was always bouncing all over the place, back and forth between parents' house, moving, not a lot of friends, no siblings, whatever. I just was observing because like what else was I going to do? Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what like heightened my whatever you want to call it, man, my
perspective or
superpower,
yeah.
you know, to be able to read people. And I think that's why I have such an impact on a lot of people I talk to. Like, and I talk to, I've talked to a lot of people, and I've helped people have a lot of breakthroughs. I've helped people get out of jobs they hated, get out of relationships they hated, start businesses that they weren't starting. Like I've made a good impact, and I love it. But I think I'm able to read people and get through to people like that, because of what I observed so much. So I heard the buzzer go off. I'll say one more thing and then we'll move on. But with the whole like having the right mindset thing and being able to go after what you want in life, go after what you want. That's the key. Those are the key words right there. I can't tell you how many people I know going after stuff that they don't even, I think they're so delusional at some point. They don't even realize they don't want it. They think they want something. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was about to
dude,
bring back. And I'm glad I remembered it. Like, even you felt good when you were getting those promotions at LA Fitness, right? You were saying,
right,
you
exactly.
were having these kinds of success metrics, and then you get
Yep.
caught up in that chase, and before you know
You
it, you're
get
like
caught
down
up.
this road that's like so far off from what you really want. And it's like a lot of
Yep.
people don't have the courage to go back to square one and go in a different path. And I feel like
Exactly.
entrepreneurs
Exactly.
are comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? And we're comfortable with being able to kind of just keep enduring failure a little bit until we find what we want.
That is what it is. It is, people are scared to, if they have a cushy job, if they have a corporate leadership, if they have whatever, X amount of money, X amount of diver, everyone thinks about money right away, right? Well, what am I going to do if I make 70K right now and I stop this and I only make 40K? Dude, you're going to figure it out. That's what you're going to do. But it's not like staying in what you're doing and making 70K is going to make your life any better, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather fail completely, fall on my face flat, lose everything doing or trying something that I thought I wanted to do than sticking with something else that I didn't want to just for the security. Absolutely not, And then when you fall flat on your face, you get up and there's no more, you can't get any lower. So you just start building it again. And it's so much quicker, and people don't humble themselves. So that's what I was going to say. The three virtues, I'm pretty tatted up too. I got a lot of tattoos. So I've been thinking about getting this as one of my next tattoos in some fashion, these three words, and I don't know, symbols, letters, whatever. But I developed these three things this year. Actually, when I was overseas, I got stuck in Philippines for a whole month. I was living in the ghetto on lockdown, couldn't get out of the country. It was a pretty humbling experience. And so I thought to myself, I'm grateful because I'm alive. I have shelter. I have access to food and water. What else am I going to do? Am I going to sit here and complain for the next month? That's going to not be the best month, right? That's going to
Mm-hmm.
suck. So I'm just going to be grateful. And then number two, I had to humble myself because here I was, Mr. Entrepreneur, traveling to LA and Vegas and Scottsdale and New York and Philly. And then I go to Bali, Indonesia. And then I'm in Singapore for a weekend. Then I'm back to Bali. And then boom, I'm in the ghetto of Pasay City, Manila. And I'm thinking to myself, well, this isn't where I thought I would be right now, right?
Mm.
And probably neither are a lot of people who are watching my story. But like, once again, I'm either going to sit here and be egotistical and convince myself that I don't belong here just because have more success, or I'm going to humble myself and just say, hey, I'm here for a reason. There's a purpose that I landed here right now. So I'm going to make the absolute best out of it, figure out why I'm here, and just humble myself and meet people and talk to whoever and just be around the culture. And yeah, you just let it happen, humble yourself. And then number three is patience. You got to have patience. You got to just, like, once again, what am I going to do for the next month? I'm stuck. I can't do anything. I can freak out and wish that it's over and cry myself to sleep every night, but that's not going to be a good way to go to bed. So I'm just going to be patient. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to be humble. I'm going to be patient. And that's, if you apply those three things, I've told so many people this, if you apply those three things to anything that you're doing, and you can actually do it, and you can be grateful and be humble and be patient and true to yourself about it, you will win. With that's like the recipe for success in my opinion, those three things.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like that's That's what, when I've really been seeing all this stuff in quarantine too. Like I was so caught up in my ego. I used to coach like a nationally ranked dance program, and I was so
Yeah.
caught up in the vanity and the glory of that. But I knew deep in my soul, like probably like 3 years in, because I was there 3 years in, I would tell my husband, something's not right. Like it's not going the way I thought. Like, yes, we're getting all the trophies and we're getting everything, but the
Mhm.
girls aren't being who I thought they would be. And it's not that they weren't good enough already, but I just felt like if we're champions on paper, we should act like champions. And so, there was
Yeah.
like a disconnect. I don't know, like something was missing. They were doing everything. I never had any problems, no discipline issues. I can't tell you what it is. Like there was just no fire in them. And I was so fired up about dance that I was like, I can't, I rather tame a fire of like super passionate girls that are like overly excited than have to
Yeah, of
light the
course.
fire all the time. It's draining. So, I
That's
mean,
super draining. Super draining.
once I humbled myself, I mean, I wrote a book about fear. I started this
Uh-huh.
podcast. I've been talking to tons of people. It's led to some serious connections. And again, it all came from humbling myself, willing to step down, and willing to just start over. And I think you're right. Those three have really been the secret sauce to everything I'm doing right now. So third question,
Awesome.
let's just go into it.
Okay.
So who will you be? I know you say you have some things with mindset planned, but is there anything else that you want to do?
Yeah, of course. I have very, very big plans, and I'm sure every entrepreneur says that, which they
Are you going to go
should.
to the
Why
10X
shouldn't they?
conference? Because there's a conference,
I
right?
would love to, actually. I think is it going to be in Miami again?
I don't know, but I always
Yeah.
get
If
asked for it.
it even happens, who the heck
Right.
knows what's going to happen with COVID?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'm 100% because I know I had a few people that are in my inner circle that went last year and I didn't, and well, obviously I was overseas when it happened, but yeah, I was like, man, that would be cool. Yeah. But who am I going to be? So my big goal, I talk, so I'm really big into manifestation and affirmations, and it's all part of my morning routine. I meditate, I write down my affirmations, my gratitudes every single morning. I never miss it, I never skip a beat. And I write down stuff as if it already happened. I believe it. I believe it's going to happen. I write down, if I think a million, I'm going to say a billion or 10 million or whatever. Like whatever I think, I'm going to write it higher. And so I've gotten to the point now where I've been writing, I'm the best motivational speaker ever. I'm the greatest motivational speaker ever, like every day. Now, am I right now? No. I mean, obviously Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, guys like that, they're the goats, but I'm on such a momentum high. That's kind of how I do things. When I get stagnant, I slow down. So I just keep going. And
Yeah.
for me, like I just have such big goals, and aspirations, and a lot of people do these days. And I'm not saying I'm any different or any better. I
Won't
just
stop.
don't have a point in my head where I see myself stopping until
Mhm.
I reach, like, until I am the next Tony Robbins, until I am the next Gary Vee.
And I mean,
And
it's totally likely because I mean, what Gary Vee's like in his 40s, right? I think.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
And
do
then
it. Mark
Tony
my
Robbins
words.
is in his
You'll
60s.
show this podcast someday where I say I'm the greatest motivational speaker ever. And then the next clip is going to be me as like the guy.
Yeah, and then I'll probably be there in the lineup somewhere down the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on the
No,
same path.
yeah, it's a hard thing to talk about, to be honest. And I bet you some of the listeners right now are like, this guy, come on. But like the reality of it is, if you don't, for first of all, it's a hard thing to speak about because people don't see your goals like you see them,
Mm-hmm.
right? People don't believe in you. Well, I shouldn't say this. Some people believe in you more than when you believe in yourself. But me, like, I really believe in myself. And I know other people believe in me. I know I have a lot of people who believe in me and who support me. But I also know that there's a lot of people who, if I say that to, dude, I'm going to be one of the greatest motivational speakers ever to live. I'm going to be worth over 100 million. Like, I say these types of goals to, and they're just going to look at me like, you know what I mean? Like, they just have no concept of that ever even being possible. So it's a hard thing to speak about, number one. But number two, I'm just at such a point now from doing these affirmations so consistently, just like I talked about with your perspective turned to your thoughts, beliefs, actions, realities. Like, it's in the process, because that is how it goes.
Yeah.
So I'm at the belief stage right now. I'm at the action stage right now, because I'm doing stuff differently in my life that's leading me to the next biggest thing. And I'm just going to keep doing it. You know, I'm the kind of person where, like, I will get stagnant and I'll be unhappy. You know, like, there is no finish line. The finish line is when my heart stops beating, straight up. Cause like I can take time to enjoy myself and go on vacations and that, but like, if I don't work, I don't like it. And that's just who I am.
Yeah,
so,
same.
you know, it's just not going to stop until I get there. So that's who I'm going to be. I'm going to be a motivational speaker, speaking at large events. MineSet, my company, for anyone that can see this, I don't know if you can or not, that's my logo. I'm serious about it. I believe in it. I'm committed, as you see. And I want to take that to just like a whole nother level.
And for those of you that are watching the audio, I mean, he literally lifted his shirt and the logo's literally there. So I'm a witness.
I tattooed it on me, guys. I mean it. Yeah. I just, that logo, I've had so many surreal visualizations and meditations, and I've seen it like all around the world and on clothes and people that also get it tattooed on them. And, you know, like one of the guys, Charlie right now, at Charlie, love what he's doing, the winning streak movement. You know, I've like a lot of his stuff, like I've been thinking about for the last year. And then I just heard of him like a couple months ago. And I'm like, dude, this guy is doing everything that I want. And it motivated me so much, because I'm like, yo, he's doing it, which means I can do it too. Like, you see anyone do something, that means it's possible. And if it's possible, you can do it. So like, when I saw him, it really pumped me up, because I'm like, he's like, everything he's doing is exactly what I see myself doing, and more. And I'm sure he has and more too. You know, we all have and more.
Well,
But
I'll be honest, like the reason I started this podcast selfishly was, like you were saying, I don't know that many entrepreneurs, especially in my city, that are going to do this kind of stuff. And so I needed to find connections and make an opportunity for myself to really start getting into the game. And then for me too, it feels kind of weird to even say I was going to start a business, like labeling myself as an entrepreneur. That was really scary, but I'm over it. And so like with everything that I keep hitting, it's like, you can't be scared to speak it into existence. Like I hired a business coach, and when they asked what was the ultimate goal of this stuff, I said, I want to have the influence of Tony Robbins, but the vulnerability of Brene Brown. And I want to be like the top female motivational mindset person, because even now that I see, recently I went to this, well, I didn't go virtually, I attended this thing called Thrive. And that's something you should check out if they do another virtual one, because it was pretty affordable. Not like 10x price tag, but and so a friend got me in there, and I noticed, I mean, no shade to the guys, right? But all 3 days there was like 3 girls talking, and the rest of the time it was pure dudes. And I was like, that's cool, yeah, but how are females ever going to get into this game if there's nobody, like you're saying, to look at? And I want to be that woman, and I'm going to do it. So it's hard to say out loud, but I think the moment you throw it out there, like something in the universe catches it, and it'll start becoming more of a reality, like you're saying.
Yeah, you got to preach it, man. Whatever you're doing, for anyone listening to this, if you're striving to reach an accomplishment or a goal, and you can't find it in yourself, or you can't get over some kind of hump, it's just a matter of jumping. That's it. You just got to jump. I went skydiving for the first time ever back when I was in Hawaii, which was absolutely breathtaking, on the island of Oahu over North Shore, where all the surfers go. And I'm deathly afraid of heights, and I still am. They scare the hell out of me, man. I never thought I would ever do skydiving, ever. When I went to Hawaii, I met one of my Instagram buddies. You know, we all have Instagram buddies that we've never met, right? You're an Instagram buddy now that I never met. And my guy Austin, he great friend of mine now, but we became good friends while I was there. He lives there still. And he's all about skydiving, has his license, jumps probably 5 days a week.
Mm.
Something he just totally like motivated me to do. He's like, dude, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. And I just kept seeing him do it. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to face my fears. I'm going to finish up. And I just booked the appointment without, first thing I did was just stop thinking about it. And like, I'm saying this story because you need to apply this, like this type of action taking to everything in your life if you want to succeed and get things done and ultimately, you know, find happiness, because success is happiness, not money. Money's a tool, right?
Exactly.
Money's a tool to build success, to provide you with happiness. Like that's the most real shit ever. But I'm saying this because, yeah, like you need to like metaphorically jump and just build your parachute on the way down, even if you don't have a plan sometimes. And so I just called, I booked the appointment, then I had it booked, so there was no turning back. And then I got there and the nerves started kicking in a little bit and got in the plane. And then I was like, ooh, but then I just, once I was in the air, I was like, I'm in the air. So I got to jump, you know, and then I just calmed down and you do it. And at first it's like, oh my God. And then the parachute comes and you're floating and you're like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. And that's
And you were already taking the jump here on land. So it was just like a physical manifestation of your bravery, if you really think about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's so accurate. Yeah. But yeah, if you apply that mentality to everything, you know, my whole last like year and a half-ish, year and 3 months-ish of my life has been so on the go. And like I said, packed my car, drove cross country, didn't rent a place, just Airbnb for 4 months, whatever, took random trips. Same thing, went to Bali, took a quick trip to Singapore, came back, another trip to Philippines, stuck for a month, booked a 64-hour flight to Hawaii. I had to go from Philippines to South Korea, 9-hour layover,
What?
all the way over Hawaii to LA. So I had to pass Hawaii, 6 extra hours, stay in LA, had a 24-hour layover in LA. Yep, slept the night, got up, flight got delayed 3 hours. Then I had to go also to Seattle, which was extra that day, then back to Hawaii. So it was like 5 airports, 64 hours. But like, I just didn't think, I just booked it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't planning. Like I just was like, I am getting out of Philippines right now because this is it. I have my chance. I took it and I got out. I got to paradise, and you know what I mean? And then I just kept like, boom, 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 boom. Then I'm in LA. Then I'm in Vegas. Then I went back to Scottsdale for a couple months. Then I came home. Now I'm about to go out to LA next Saturday. And on the low, I'm moving there soon. But I just decided that.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm going out. But I'm just going out. I just booked a flight and I'm going to look at places. Like, I just don't think, and I'm not saying all this to brag, like, oh, look at me and where I've been. I'm saying this to show anyone who's listening to this, like, how sporadic my life has been, because it really has. And I don't plan stuff. And like, I tell my parents about this stuff sometimes and they look at me like, dude, you're wild for like, you don't like, I can't believe you're just booking one ways. Like, you know what I mean? Cause like, you know, everyone in past generation is so used to like, you have to have a plan. You got to have a round trip book, you know, this, that, I'm just like, yo, one ways everywhere. Like I'll figure it out when I get there and, you know, leave when I want. Right. And like, that is just how you need to approach every situation, is just go for it. Just go for it. Jump, leap, just take action. You'll figure it out. You always figure it out.
Okay, so I'm going to time it because you're already saying it. So we've said the 3 virtues, be grateful, be humble, and what was the third one?
Have patience.
Have patience. And then we said, you know, take the jump before you're ready, basically. Is there anything else you want to tell our listeners? We're kind of wrapping it up here. So how else can listeners avoid clocking out if you haven't mentioned all of it already?
Yeah. The ones I'll tell you, so I've told you all this stuff that I do, right? But I have my own flaws too. So I'll tell you right now, one of my biggest flaws, that I probably still have to this day is, and my girlfriend tells me this, my stepmom just told me this today. She does Reiki and all that. So I actually just did a session with her earlier. Same thing from everyone. It's like, dude, you have no balance. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But I'm a workaholic, you know, I'm always working. I'm always on my phone. You know, all my business is on my phone virtually. I mean, I use my laptop for, you know, research and spreadsheets and stuff like that. But mainly I'm on social media, I'm networking, I'm setting up deals and this and that. And I'm always doing it to the point where like, it's such a natural reaction for me to pull my phone out and check it, that sometimes I'm doing it and I'm realizing like, I'm not even like, I don't even have any messages to go through right now. I'm just doing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, so like, yeah, you got to work hard. Like you got to work really hard, because obviously most people listening to this are going to be entrepreneurs, people who are trying to pursue their dreams, which means you're trying to live a life of some form of extraordinary, not the average lifestyle of just clocking in and clocking out, 9 to 5, same old stuff. So you have to work hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like, hey, have balance, go have fun, don't stress yourself. No, like you're going to have nights where like you need to fucking grind. Sorry
Mm-hmm.
for the language, but like
No,
you
it's
really
fine.
need. And I've had some, man, I've worked so much in the last year. I mean, when I, yeah, I'm not going to go into, the hours I've put in are insane. And my sleep schedule has been all over the place because of it, but it's not going to be that way forever. And that's what I'm trying to, now that I am established, now that I can provide for myself, I make enough money to have, a life of freedom, not have to worry about going to a job or anything like that. Now that I have that, now's where I need to focus back onto myself. So the last like month of my life, I've really been trying to focus back in on my own inner peace and being, and not just having like my phone glued to me at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, for anyone, any of the listeners, like, dude, take the time you need, honestly. And don't be too leisurely about it. Don't fall off track. Don't
Yeah.
lose sight of your goals, because then if you get too comfortable, then you don't get anything done. And then, 3 years goes by and you've only done 6 months worth of work. So like work really, really hard for like a year straight, like bust your ass. And then after you get to like each point of success in your business comes in like stages, right? It's like stage 1, stage 2. Like once you get past like the stage 1 of like, I need to work until this becomes somewhat profitable,
Mm-hmm.
then, all right, cool. Once you hit like that steady profit, you don't even have to be like making money. You just need to be able to like break even. And when you consistently break even, so that you, at the end of the day, you don't owe anyone money, you're not in debt, you're not losing money in your business because the cost of expenses is more than the profit, right? As long as you break even and you can maintain it without expending all your energy towards it, take a step back, refocus, redial in on you, and do some more stuff that you used to do in the beginning. Because we all start out with like, reading books and doing this, and then we get sucked into the business and you forget about all of it. And that's what happened to me. So now I've been reading so much lately, like way more than I have in the last 6 months, just in the last like probably month itself. And really focusing back in on like my meditation and just all that stuff. So just take the time that you need when you need it. That way you don't, quote unquote, clock out, right? Stay clocked in, but take a time out if you need it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I even think, I don't know if it is him, but it's like Elon Musk, or I think it's Bill Gates. He takes like a think week, and once every year he like literally takes a vacation basically away from his family, and he
Mm-hmm.
just wants to be alone to read, to think, and to get some of his best ideas. And he said that some of his best work has come from that one week. So I
Think
think
week.
I
I
think
like that.
yeah, and it's cool that you're
I'm
saying
gonna
that
wait till
because
like someone's driving me absolutely nuts, and then I'm like, think week.
no, but like you're saying, you said it a little bit earlier. You said there's no finish line. So if there's no finish line, and if you know you keep going to the end, you got to be able to kind of press pause, right? Because the grind is long, and so
Yeah.
you can take a pause, but that doesn't mean to give up. It just means you're kind of getting back in tune with yourself, back in alignment. Maybe you can be all physically well, but maybe your mind and your spirit are not well. So the mind, body, and spirit alignment is good. And yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. I hate using that cliche, but
So true though, but no,
yeah.
but it's so true. That actually, those words were said to me a few months ago, and it really impacted my life. Um, and like I said, I'm being raw right now. You know, even over a year into this life, and I still, you know, I have ups and downs. I'm human, man. Like I go through stuff, but what I never lose is my full like drive. Like you may lose a little motivation, that's fine. But I have discipline, right? You gotta have discipline over motivation. Like even on the days that I'm not motivated, like I still do something, you know? I don't just ever like completely give up. And if I need to take a break, I mentally, physically need to actually take like a break and just chill and go do something, then I'll go do it. But I'm not like out. I'm not like masking it with things. You know what I mean? Like I'm just
Mm-hmm.
the break I need, then I get back to it. And with the finish line thing too, just so this is not the words aren't taken out of context, there's two sides to that. Like yes, there's multiple finish lines like scattered throughout life, but in terms of motivation and drive, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's never going to be a finish line if you're true to what you do. You're always going to want to do better. You're always going to want to keep doing, because like once you reach it and you just then what? Like if you're that motivated of a person to reach a certain point of extraordinary and you get there, you're not just going to be done. That's not the type of person you are. You're going to want to do more. But with like mental stuff and mindset stuff, and if you're going through a struggle or your business is at a lull, or you're going like even not just like business stuff, dude, personal stuff, right? You're going through a breakup,
Mm-hmm.
you're dealing with depression, anxiety, you just lost a ton of money and it's like completely stressing you out, whatever, right? There's always a finish line to each struggle as well. So as long as you just press and press and press, even when it hurts and it sucks and you just want to like lay down and ball up, there is the finish line somewhere. You just never know where it is. So like that's what keeps me going a lot, is I
Yeah.
never fully give up, because I truly know that like spiritually you're gonna reach a point where you just break through the other side and you're like, whew, okay, I can breathe again. Like, you know, like I'm
Yeah. It's
good
like a
now.
leveling up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Cool. So you beat this one question. Now we're done with the interview itself. We're reflecting. So you beat this one question. You had 6 seconds left, but then in the other three, the timer beat you. So you did not beat the clock, but that's okay. Like we talked about in prep, it's not the big deal. How did you feel? You
And
weren't
like
even thinking about
stood
the
up and I
timer,
was
right?
like, this is bullshit. I just flipped the table.
No, people who tend to like not beat the clock are like they don't even care about the clock. So what was your experience? Did you even think about the timer at all?
I forgot about it half the time. I thought
I
about it
know.
a little
I
bit.
don't. Did you even hear the first one?
Maybe.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
you did.
Yeah, I just get going.
You heard the second one, but the first time I was like, "Yep, he's just blowing right past it. It's like doesn't
Did I
care."
just go through it? Oh yeah, no, I guess I don't even remember. That's funny.
So there's no pressure. You didn't feel it.
Yeah, no, I just go. Don't have
That-
pressure on anything. I mean, you'll feel it sometimes, but just remember that it's just your mind playing tricks on you. That's it, man.
There you go. Yeah, because some people are super aware of it. The only person that has beat the clock 4-0. He was like super aware of it. He even like was timing me. He asked if he could time it. And then like there was one time he like showed me the phone and he's like, we gotta wrap it up. And I was like, whoa. And like, I mean, he's called the billionaire's magician for a reason. Like he does magic for Apple, for the San Francisco 49ers. Like he's
Yeah.
like crazy. But like he was the one that it was really interesting to see. Like he took time so seriously. And there's a lot of people that have different reactions to it. But really time is a construct, right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
interesting. But yeah, Pauly, thank you so much. Is there any way that people can reach out to you and get in touch with you if they need it?
Yeah, just go. I'm pretty personable with my social media. I really make it a goal to get back to like all my DMs within a week or less. So I check them every day and I get back to as many people as I can. But Instagram is my main platform, at Pauly Long, just my name, PAULYLONG. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitter and Facebook. Don't really use any of those as much, but yeah, definitely reach out, guys, on Instagram if you have it. Shoot me a DM sometime and we'll connect.
Yeah, for sure. And it's for real, guys, because he has what? You almost have like 250,000, right? of
Right around
followers.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
And he was willing to talk to me, and that's that we set this up initially like 2 years ago. Not really, right? But
No.
it was a long time ago. And then we've been kind of going back and forth. And sometimes when you're trying to reschedule, people just drop off the map. Like you really did stay loyal to this, and
Yeah, I know, and I felt bad too because I even felt like I dropped off the map a little bit, and I was like, shoot, I can't do that because because I know people are like that. It sucks, you know. It's like you plan something and you put effort into it, and they just disappear. And it's like, dude, really, like you don't have the decency to even say something. So like, yeah, like it got to that point, and I was like, I gotta, and then you ended up messaging me the other day, and I was like, all right, this is good.
no, yeah, but like I appreciate that you actually followed through, because
Yeah,
sometimes people drop off the map, and you're in the hustle too. It can be discouraging. So thanks so much, Pauly, for your time,
of course.
for your wisdom, for your heart, and we're clocking out here, guys. But don't you clock out in your own life. Thanks. And then that's.
What are you waiting for?